It's another offseason, which means the Indianapolis Colts are going to have a new quarterback, and that quarterback is going to be former Atlanta Falcons Matt Ryan for a third-round pick. Welcome, Matt Ryan, to Indy. I hope you come here and you do great things. But are you going to make the Colts a contender? Are you going to come over here and elevate them not just on the field, but the locker room? Because as we just had, Carson Wentz couldn't elevate a team on the field, in the locker room. Didn't know what you were getting from week to week. Carson Wentz just wasn't a fun option, just wasn't a very good option at the quarterback position. Almost tore apart the franchise, almost tore apart the locker room. So, yeah, I'd like to welcome you to the JDW Sports Talk Show where every fan is welcome. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to talk about Matt Ryan and the impact that he's going to make on this Colts team, not just in the huddle, not just on the field, but in the locker room as well. So, if you enjoy sports, football content, Colts content, make sure you like, subscribe, and put that post notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos. So, what Matt Ryan brings, he's going to bring more than just a play on the field. He's going to bring fire to the locker room, to the huddle, on the field. Matt Ryan is a veteran, and his leadership is out of this world. It's priceless. It's not something that you could go and just get. Matt Ryan's leadership, don't get it that often. As we see some of these great quarterbacks, you don't get that leadership option often. You look at Carson Wentz. He didn't hold people accountable. He didn't hold him. I mean, he did hold himself accountable, but the locker room wasn't with him. He didn't hold anyone accountable on the field. Didn't have no fire on the field. Just wasn't that guy to lead. He just can't lead like that. Matt Ryan, on the other hand, he's going to come in here and he's going to fire up the locker room. He's going to fire up the guys in the huddle. He's going to fire up the guys on the sideline. Carson Wentz, not so much. And I also mentioned he's accurate. He can lead receivers. What's the word I'm looking for? The anticipation to throw a receiver open. Matt Ryan is going to be an awesome addition. So talk about him with the Falcons a little bit. So you go back to these last 2 years. People are going to say arm kind of fell off, just hasn't been Matt Ryan like. So maybe even 2019. So you go to 2019, 66 completion percentage, 4,500 yards thrown, 26 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. That's not terrible. That's not bad at all. And yeah, he's going to throw you interceptions. He's going to throw a few interceptions. But he's also going to throw you a lot of touchdowns. He's going to be a consistent option through the air. That's what you're going to get with an aggressive quarterback. Then you have 2020, 65 completion percentage, 4,581 yards, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Very similar to the 2019 season. 2021, things drop off even more. 67 completion percentage, 4,000 passing yards, almost. 20 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. So, you go through it, and you look through the stats, you're like, oh, you don't really want a declining guy. He's 36 years old. But don't forget, quarterbacks play some of their best ball in their late 30s. Some just can't. Some just fall off quick. Some, we've seen many times where quarterbacks' arms just fall off a cliff and they don't have it no more. Matt Ryan, it's definitely declining. The arm is declining. That's without question. But it's still there. There's still enough there to get him through 2 or 3 seasons. He's accurate. He's got the anticipation. He's smart. He's got the fire, as we're talking about once again. You also got to look at the teams he was around. As he declined, the team declined around him. The offensive line got progressively worse. Weapons, Julio left, and then Calvin Ridley. We know the situation with him. Do have Kyle Pitts, but at receiver, with Ridley and Julio gone, Russell Gage is not the number one guy. He's not. He's not a number one receiver. Maybe a 2, maybe a 3, not a 1. So, and then there's another argument where he can't move. He can move. He's not crazy fast. He's not as fast as Carson Wentz, but he's fast enough to evade some pressure, to get a first down quick. He's not very fast, but he's not extremely slow. So Matt Ryan coming to this team, as I said, he's going to throw receivers open. He's going to have Michael Pittman. Outside of that, the Colts team needs some weapons. You need to go out and get a guy like Jarvis Landry, Keelan Cole. Resign T.Y., but you still need someone else if you resign T.Y. Maybe you bring Julio in to reunite with Matt Ryan. I could see it happening. I think that's a good idea at the right price. Injuries have come up. He's declined every year quite a bit. So that's something to consider there. And if you do resign T.Y., you still need someone else because he's been injury prone as well. So I think Jarvis Landry, Keelan Cole, one of those two would be an awesome option. But there's other ones out there. Maybe you draft a guy. And then you move on to the offensive line. Matt Ryan is going to have the best offensive line he has had in his career, without a doubt. Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, Braden Smith. Other two positions, guard and tackle, right guard and left tackle, more specifically, are big need. I think you need to resign Chris Reed, and I think you need to go find a guy in the draft or sign someone for left tackle. But they did resign Matt Pryor, and I think Matt Pryor can hold down the fort. Now, is he a top 5 tackle in the league? No. Is he one of the best in the league? No. But he's going to get the job done. He's going to be a good tackle. Not great, but good. And that's what we need right now. You go to right guard, resign Mark. Or no, Mark went to the Giants. JDW, relax. Sign Chris Reed. Then, tight ends as well. You come back to the weapons a little bit. Tight ends, going to need some tight ends. I get it, Mo Alley Cox is big. And he's still raw. When he came into the league, when the Colts signed him, he had him play football, an organized football game since his freshman year of high school. So he's raw, but he's big and he's progressed. But his hands are inconsistent. He's inconsistent as a whole as a tight end. Kylan Granson, he's fast, good route runner, speedy, but he's not the typical. He's just not the typical inline tight end size. But you could line him up in the slot, inline tight end. You could do it, and he's gonna make some pretty big plays. He's a better blocker than people give him credit for. Talking about the blocking, you have Jonathan Taylor, who you're gonna get some pretty good blocks for. Things aren't going well, hand it off to JT behind you. Let him go get the first. Let him go make a difference. You got Nyheim Hines. You got some really darn good running backs. And you're also going to have a defense that's going to give you more chances. That's a big, big, big point to bring up. In 2018 and 2019, mostly 2018, and 2016, Matt Ryan, let's say, got a lot of chances to get the ball back, had a lot of chances to go and make something happen, and he did it. He did it. That's why he had 38 and 35 touchdowns those 2 years. That defense gave him more opportunities, gave him a lot of opportunities. And this Colts defense, they get a lot of turnovers, they force a lot of turnovers, and now they have a nice defensive line. Cornerback is in need, big time need, especially the firepower that you're gonna have to be able to defend against in the AFC. You have your Tyreek Hills, you have your Keenan Allens, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams now, Jerry Jeudy's, Cortland Sutton. Not as crazy, Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy, but there's still guys you need to watch out. Tim Patrick. There's a lot of really good receivers in the AFC. There's a lot of really good teams in the AFC in general that the Colts are going to have to fight through. So, I'm really excited to welcome Matt Ryan to Indy. Really excited to see what he's going to do with this team. I hope he plays 2 to 3 years and gives this team some kind of stability at the quarterback position. And then the Colts. What are you going to do for the future? Are you going to draft a guy and Bailey Zappi? I think drafting a guy in Bailey Zappi is an amazing move. Amazing move. Bailey Zappi is quite underrated in my opinion. Give it a year to learn a system, to get it figured out. Bailey Zappi will be a pretty good starter in this league. I think he'd be decent. So, Colts give up a third for a guy that's going to come over and make a big difference. Now, they do have to pay some of it, but they're getting a guy that is going to make a huge difference. That is going to make that much more of a difference. So, you guys let me know what you think. I'm really excited for Matt Ryan coming to Indianapolis. I think he's going to have big impacts on this team. So, you guys let me know your thoughts. This is going to be the end of this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, put that post notification bell on so you don't miss any future videos. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you later.